So I'm going to start the same way that I did before. My front viewport, I'm going to make a line. In this case, I'm going to make the line kind of bent a little bit, just like this. Zoom in on that. And I'm going to make a circle. And I'm going to put the circle, in this case, I'm just going to put the circle down here and just leave it. You can see that my circle is just kind of floating in space there. It's over here to the side. And I'll zoom in on this viewport so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. So I've got a shape and a path, which means I can loft it. So now I'm going to pick the shape. I'm going to go to Create, Objects, Compound Objects, Loft. Click Loft. And then I'm going to say, in this case, I'll say Get Path, because I've already got the shape. And there we go. Actually, that's what I don't want to happen. And I forgot. If you pick the shape first, then it won't go where your path is. And usually that's what you want. So I'm going to pick the path first in this case, hit Loft, and then say Get Shape. And we'll click on that. That's more what I want, because I want it to go right where my path is. Doesn't matter one way or the other. It's just easier to work with. I'm going to change the color to a gray in this case because I'm going to make what is actually going to be an antenna for my tank. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to go to Skin Parameters, and I'm going to bump the path shapes up a little bit, path steps up a little bit, and I can bring the shape steps down a little bit. Now here's the trick. You'll notice I'm under Create, right here, and if I go all the way to the bottom, there's no little tab down here. See that? There's nothing there. But if I go to Modify, and then I look all the way down to the bottom, there's a new tab down there. It's kind of hidden. It's only under Modify, which is unusual for Macs. Usually it gives you exactly the same thing in both tabs, and why it's only here I don't have an answer for, but it is. It's called Deformations. It's under Modify. If I click on this, I get these 5 cool little buttons here. I can go to Scale, and I get this menu. And what this is going to do is it's going to deform my little circular shape as it goes around the path, or as it goes down the path. And this line here, which is flat right now, is going to deform it. So watch what happens. If I use the Move Control, this button, in this window, and go around this handle here, and pull it down right to that dark gray line, see how it pinches that together. So now I've kind of got like this horn thing happening. Then I can go over here to Insert Corner Point, which looks like a little star with a red and I guess just a red line running through it. And I'm going to insert corner points here, here, and here. And watch how I can move these now. I'm going to go to this corner point. I'm going to zoom out. These are your controls that handle what you're actually seeing here. I'm going to go to this corner point, and I'm going to move that out. And that's going to be my base. See how I'm kind of modeling with this now? So that's my base. See the profile here is the profile here if the path was straight. But it's going down the path, so you kind of have to figure that this gray line is the path, and then you can kind of imagine what it would look like if this was curved. Now I'm going to grab this piece here, I'm going to move it up, and there we go. We've got kind of our little top piece going on there. Now I'm going to grab this point here, and I'm going to right click on it and say Bezier Smooth, and it's going to smooth that out. And I've got a little Bezier handle here that can kind of smooth out that piece. And I'm going to grab both of these pieces and just move them. I'm in Move now. Grab that piece there, move it in a little bit, or out. Actually, I think out looks better. I'm going to move it out, and you can model things this way. So I can pinch this in if I want. I think I may. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And now I have an antenna piece for my tank. And that's just using these curves. This button here moves things straight up and down so that they don't wobble back and forth. These buttons here are for the separate axes. You can actually work on 2 axes here. So you can see that if I display both axes, they're right on top of each other, or I can go to each axis because this is dealing with kind of a 2-dimensional space here. If you want to get rid of a point, you highlight it and hit the little trash can. And if you want to start all over completely, you hit this button. Okay? And those are most of the buttons that you'll need. You can also use these zoom vertical and horizontal buttons if you want, and you'll see they lock the zooming to one axis, or you can drag around an area and zoom in to get a closer look. So give that a try and see what you can come up with. I'm going to use my little antenna here on my tank. There are also other buttons. You can play with twist, teeter, bevel, and fit if you want. These first 3 are pretty obvious, and then fit is a little bit different in that I can fit the shape to a curve. You can see it comes with some different settings, and we're going to deal with fit in a little bit later tutorial. Okay? In fact, fit may be in the more advanced class at this point. These little lights here, if I turn them off, you'll see that it'll go back to normal, and if I turn it on, it's on completely. All right? And there you go. So that's how you add a deform to a loft.